right. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is, right? Hey, invite somebody to Real Life Relationships. It's going down tonight. It's going down. Y'all see that title? Oh, man. I hope I can get through this in one session. We might have to have a part two on this, y'all, because I want to take my time through it. But I really want to help people understand some stuff. We gonna take our time on it. So come on in. Do 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 do. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. All right. I'm gonna give us about a couple of minutes, just to give some people opportunities to come on in the room. And so when you come in, just make sure you say hello because I want to definitely shout you out. Also, make sure if you're on Facebook, make sure you like this stream. Make sure you comment. Again, say hello. But most importantly, make sure you tag at least 5 people in it and share it to your timeline. Okay. If you're on Facebook, all right. If you're on YouTube, then make sure that you just invite somebody. Take down the stream, the live stream, and text it to somebody and say, "Hey, come jump on this podcast because I'm telling you, this man is talking about threats to our relationships." And so I'm telling you, don't want to miss this, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. Some of the things you guys are gonna know, some of the things you may not have known, or you may have known it, but you didn't know how important they were, right? You may not know how important they are. All right. All right. So let's get it. All right. One more minute. So again, when you come in, just say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Be good to know that. And also, two, make sure you tag and share to your Facebook. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, just make sure that you send it out to somebody because I'm telling you, you want to be a part of this. So 30 seconds, we getting started in 30 seconds. So you guys bear with us. I always try to give people opportunity from all the different platforms to make sure they log in. So good to see some of you guys on tonight. I can see some of you guys that are already on, waiting and anticipating. And so again, this podcast is for couples, it's for singles, it's for everybody that aspires to be in a relationship one day and stuff like that. And so, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be interesting. Tonight's gonna be interesting. All right, tonight's gonna be interesting. We're gonna expose some things tonight. All right, Nantrell, good to see you on. Good to see you on, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna expose some things tonight. Seriously, because these are silent killers. Like sometimes we don't realize it. And so we're going to uncover some silent killers that are threats to our relationships, that destroy our relationships silently. All right. All right. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are ready to go. All right. So, man, y'all know every week we start out by telling you guys healthy relationships don't happen by accident. They are built with intention. That is what this entire podcast is about. Let me put my phone on silent so y'all don't hear that going off. But that's what it's about when we talk about real life relationships and we talking about the blueprint to healthy love. We got to understand that healthy relationships don't happen by accident. They don't happen because we think that we're compatible. They don't happen because we just think that we're good together. They don't happen because we believe the Lord said we're supposed to be together. They don't happen by accident. They don't happen just because of what you think. They are built with intention. We have to be proactive. And if we're proactive, we won't be reactive. So you guys hear me say this quote all the time by Thomas Jefferson. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Right. And so anything in life, if you fail to plan at it, you plan to fail at it. OK, Miss Lakeitha, Ike, good to see you guys on tonight. All right. All right. All right. So welcome to a real life relationship. Right. A blueprint for healthy love. All right. where we have honest, y'all. And y'all know that we that's what this thing is built on, honesty. Like we have honest conversations about dating, about marriage, about family, about communication, about conflict, and everything in between those subjects. And our goal is simple, y'all, here at Real Life Relationships, as your host, Jonathan J to the B Burton. You dig? We just want to help couples build healthy relationships God's way, right? That's the goal. And to give couples a picture and practical tools that can help be applied in everyday life. Just give them a picture, a glimpse of what their relationship could be, and give practical tools. Y'all know every episode, I give you guys a practical tool to put in your tool belt, right? And so we got our relationship tool belt on in every single week. So you guys that are new, go back and watch the different episodes, because every single week I give you a practical tool that you can put in your tool belt, that's going to help you going forward. Okay. And so man, I'm telling you, so I'm excited about tonight. And so I'm glad that you joined tonight. I'm glad that you're here for another conversation on relationships. And tonight we're talking about silent killers, right? And so, here we are talking about something every married couple, every dating couple, every engaged couple, and even single people need to understand. Like this is for everybody. That's what I'm saying. Tell your mama them, your aunties, like they can get it. Grandma can get it. You know what I'm saying? Tell grandma to log on too. Because every person literally needs to understand this. Even if you're not in a relationship, you need to be aware of these killers, because these killers, this is just not about married couples. All right. This kills business partnerships and relationships. It kills across the board. So don't just think that tonight is just about married couples and just, intimate relationships in general. Yes, that is what we're focusing on. But I want you to understand, like, these are silent killers that literally, a lot of them will kill any relationship. All right. Now, some of them is only when it comes down to your intimate relationships and, your marriages and dating and all of that. But some of these, could be silent killers for any type of relationship. All right. And so have you ever, now listen up, and you may be the couple, but have you ever looked at a couple and wondered, man, how they got to that point, right? How they got there? Like you remember how they started out, right? And then you like, dang, how they get there? Like, how did they get to the place where they are? How did these two people, like literally, who once couldn't wait to spend time together, become so distant, right? How could these two people who once laughed and had us all laughing together, and they not talking to each other? How did these two people who once felt deeply connected, like, become roommates and just sharing a house, right? Listen up. Most relationships don't collapse because of one major event. Y'all have heard me talk about this in many episodes since we started in February, right? It don't happen because of one major event, right? Doesn't happen because of that. Most relationships are damaged, y'all, by small issues that are ignored, that have been minimized, or literally where people don't feel the need to address it or afraid to address it for whatever reason. But most relationships are damaged. Like, you guys write that down, because this is important for you as you're going forward. Most relationships that get damaged, and the people, like, get distant and they become roommates, and they don't talk as much, they don't smile as much, they don't laugh as much, they don't hang out as much. When you're around them, you like, man, like, they energy off, right? We can see, like, man, they energy off, something ain't right about this. We can see that. It's like, but most of those relationships, like, that get to that place of damage, like, these small issues were ignored. Smaller things were minimized by one another. Then that some things just, put under the rug, never addressed. Like, man, I don't want to deal with that. For whatever reason, they just never got addressed. Right. And I want you to understand something. A relationship can survive difficult seasons. All right. A relationship can survive financial pressure. A relationship can survive external stacks. like attacks. But many relationships struggle to survive the issues that are happening inside the relationship itself. That's what it is. Because you can survive all the other stuff, all those external attacks from other places and situations, and maybe even other people, family members, friends, associates, co-workers, or whatever. Like all those attacks against your relationship, you can a lot of times survive it. But a lot of relationships struggle to survive because of the issues that are happening, you guys, inside the relationship itself. So tonight we're going to expose 7 threats. Hear me good. 7. Somebody put 7 in the comment box. Put 7 threats. All right. Because that's the thing. We're not just going to talk about this in general. You guys know I'm very specific. I'm very practical. I'm very to the point. We're going to look at 7 threats, right? 7 threats that quietly destroy relationships if they're unchecked. I'm telling y'all better invite the people. Y'all invite everybody you know that's dealing with stuff, maybe not dealing with stuff. I'm telling you, y'all want to invite them because like this here is going to be eye-opening to some people. And some people, like as we're talking about it, you're going to be able to start seeing some things. You're going to be seeing some red flags. You're going to be starting, like we talked about last week, you're going to start like, oh man, like that's making sense. But we're going to look at 7 threats and I'm going to take my time. That's why this may become a part 2. All right. Because I don't want to rush any of these threats that we're about to talk about. Okay. But we're going to expose 7 threats that have quietly destroyed relationships because they were left unchecked. Right. Because what you ignore today may become what breaks you tomorrow. And so we don't want to ignore these things. All right. We don't want to be in a place where we continue to turn a deaf ear to certain things that are happening because we minimalize it or we afraid to address it. Because again, what you ignore today may become the very thing that breaks you tomorrow. All right. Now, I want you to really hear that because a lot of us don't get into relationships for them to just break up or divorce or separate or not date anymore. We get into it because, man, we believe in this relationship and it's like, man, we thinking the best about it. So nobody gets into a relationship thinking, man, we're going to break up one day. But when you ignore things today, minimalizing things that are threats to your relationship because you don't want to deal with it or you don't want to talk about it or it's hard to talk about it, the very things that you ignore today will be the very things that'll break you tomorrow. All right. And we don't want that. So tonight, I'm telling you, if you have not shared this to your timeline, if you're on Facebook, tag at least 5 people in it and share it because I'm telling you, we exposing the enemy tonight, like in our relationships, our marriages, these threats that are silent, that a lot of times we know it, but we don't understand the depth. We don't understand actually how destructive they are. All right. So we're going to deal with those things tonight. All right. So make sure you tag at least 5 people on Facebook. Tag at least 5 people and share this on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, copy the link and share it with somebody or share it. You know how you can share it. But I'm telling you, share it with somebody, share it with singles. I'm telling you, people, this is for relationships in general. This is for relationships in general. All right. So, and for single people that are aspiring to be into a relationship one day, maybe you came out of a difficult relationship. This is going to help you. So I'm telling you, come and take notes every single week because now you're putting together a game plan. You're getting the blueprint. Again, that's why I call this the blueprint to healthy love, because you're putting together the blueprint, right? You can't build a house without the blueprint. You got to put the blueprint on paper first so that now you can work out any things that are not right. When you put it on paper and you design it and put everything in place, the blueprint lets you be able to work it out so that now you build from the blueprint. Everything is built from the blueprint. A contractor is not going to come in and build your house without blueprints. They need the blueprint because they need the plan. They need the plan on how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to go. If they don't have how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to go in the blueprint, they're not messing with it. And that's why in our relationships, we don't need to mess with any relationship or get in a relationship until we have the blueprint. All right. And this whole podcast is about giving you the blueprint for healthy love. All right. And it's free, y'all. So that's the thing, like lock in, because I'm telling you tonight is going to bless you, right? So I love, you guys know I always give Bible verses because I love to bring the word of God into this because it's very important. So that what I'm telling you, I'm not just making up. I'm not just, because you got a lot of influencers out there and podcasters and all that, that they just be saying stuff and you can't even find where it is, right? And so I because of who I am and what I believe, like you're gonna always find me referencing the word of God for everything that I say when it comes down to this. So let's go to Songs of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 15. Song of Songs, chapter 2, verse 15. And you guys have heard me say this verse a couple of times because it's very true. Because this is the thing, catch the foxes for us. The little foxes that ruin the vineyards. The little foxes. Catch them foxes for us. The little ones that ruin the vineyards. For our vineyards are in bloom, right? So the little foxes are the small things that people overlook, right? Like little attitudes, y'all. Like those little offenses that we deal with. If you guys are part of our Path to Freedom classes, y'all know last night we was talking about offense. We was talking about unforgiveness. I'm telling you. So you guys have never been through that, man. Even you guys that are not in the state of losing, I'm about to say state of New Orleans, because New Orleans really is like its own state, y'all. It is. New Orleans is like its own thing. But for you guys that's not in the New Orleans, you guys can still be a part of it. So, check it out for next year. We're in the middle of the class now. So, but you can be a part of it next year. And then we do a retreat at the end in Panama City on the beach. So you really would want to do that. So look for information later on this year when we start advertising again for next year. But this year it's already closed. We have our class. We're halfway through it. So we was talking about offense and unforgiveness last night. And so those little offenses, y'all, like those little habits that we develop, or those habits that we've had all our life, that we just like minimalize them, right? And the little compromises we make, the little compromise where we make it okay to compromise because maybe it's not hurting anybody, or maybe, you don't see the big point of the value in it. Those little compromises, those little wounds that we just try to try to hide and out of sight, out of mind, right? See, eventually the little things become big things eventually. And that's the thing. That's why I say, hey, help us get these little foxes, because they little foxes ruin vineyards. Because right now vineyards are in full bloom. So, hey, watch out for those little foxes, because even though we can't see them, we'll see the damage, right? Y'all see certain things that get into plants and stuff, and maybe you can't see it, but you see the destruction of it, right? You see the leaves eating up. You're like, man, what the world is eating this plant? You can't see it with the naked eye, but if you put a magnifying glass, you'll see those insects and bugs that are eating that plant. You see the damage, but you don't see it. And so that's what happens with these little things. You may not see it with the naked eye. You may not be, but it's there. And what's happening is you're going to see the effects of it. And the things that you ignore today could be the things that break you tomorrow. All right. So we got to look at these little things that we kind of sweep under the rug and memorialize it, make it like it's not that big of a deal. Or I don't want to deal with it for whatever reason, all that. We got to understand that, because every healthy relationship has to be built intentionally. Right. But every unhealthy relationship will drift naturally, right? Every healthy relationship is built intentionally. Like it's, I don't know how else to tell you that. Like, you cannot just fall into a relationship, say, I fell into love, and we live happily ever after. I have not met anybody that is happy today and they didn't have to work at it. Like, they had to put no effort into it. No, every relationship is going to be healthy. Is you're going to have to work at it. It's going to have to be built intentionally. But these unhealthy relationships, if we don't deal with them, they're going to drift naturally. Every unhealthy relationship is going to cause people to drift naturally, because that's what happens. All right. That's just the way we operate. When something is bad, we don't go embrace it. We start moving away from it. We start protecting ourselves. We start putting up walls. We start making excuses. We start controlling. We start doing all kind of stuff to protect ourselves. So when we have an unhealthy relationship, it would drift naturally. We would drift apart naturally if we don't deal with that stuff. Okay. All right. So I got an icebreaker, right? And I got an icebreaker for couples and I got an icebreaker for singles. So I got two different ones. So this, okay, singles, you got your own one this time. All right. Cause usually I give you guys one that, I just make it for both the couples and the singles, but I gave the singles one and the couples one. So couples, this is your icebreaker. You guys can talk about this now, or if you're not with your significant other, then go back and replay this broadcast, this episode, and then y'all talk about it, okay? Because use this as a tool, y'all. Some of you all should be using this. Go back and replay it, watch it with your spouse, watch it with your significant other, so that you can learn together and grow together, all right? This is pertinent information that's going to help you. It's going to give you the blueprint to build a healthy relationship, okay? So let me give you this icebreaker, all right? This for the couples, and then singles, I got you. Couples, what is one thing nobody warned you about regarding marriage or relationships, right? What is one thing? Y'all talk about it together. What is one thing nobody warned you about when it comes down to marriage or relationships? What is it? All right. All right. That's for couples. All right. Let me put it for couples. Let me put it in now. I'm gonna put both. I'm gonna just do both of them at the same time. I'm gonna do both at the same time. All right. And for singles, this is what I want you to ponder. What is one quality you believe every healthy relationship must have to survive? All right. Keyword is must have, but keywords are must have and survive. Okay. Not just in general, not just to work. We're not talking about a quality that we believe we need to work. No, no. I'm talking about a quality that is a deal breaker, where that the relationship can't even survive without that. Okay. So singles, that's what I want you to talk about. What is one quality you believe every healthy relationship must have to survive? Okay. And couples, what is one thing nobody warned you about regarding marriage or relationship? Talk to each other. Okay. All right. I'll give you guys like 20 seconds while I'm posting this in the thing. All right. In the chat. And some of you all might not see this because I know everybody on the main Facebooks and YouTube does. For whatever reason, I noticed that my personal Facebook, for whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe it did it. No, I don't think it did it this time. My personal Facebook has been um, not sharing. So you guys that's on my personal Facebook, I do apologize because you may not be getting these texts for whatever reason. The platform that I'm using now, they're not allowing me to post to my personal Facebook. So if you're on and you're on my personal Facebook, do this. Go to let's see, go to my YouTube. My YouTube is at Jonathan Burton underscore. All right. Okay. All right. So just go to my YouTube channel at Jonathan Burton underscore. If you're on my personal Facebook, because you're not going to see what I just posted if you're on my personal Facebook. I don't know why it just started doing that. So please go to my personal YouTube channel. I put my username at Jonathan Burton underscore there. Let me see. Maybe I can do one better for you. I might can do one better for you. Let me let's see. Maybe I can do this. Let's see. Hold up, y'all. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I could do this. I'm gonna just go get the link so it'll be easier for you guys. Okay. All right. So here we go. There you go. So I gave you the link. So if you're on my personal Facebook page, you're not going to be able to see what I'm posting. All right. So that's the thing. And I think now I can't see what you're posting either. So go to my personal Facebook page. I mean, my YouTube page. I just put the link there so you can see. But you guys that are on my YouTube page already, you're seeing it. You guys that are on the church's YouTube page and the church's Facebook page is cool. So whatever reason they stopped doing personal profiles and now they're just doing pages. So with this streaming platform that we have to reach all those different networks, platforms. So yeah, so if you're on the churches, you're good. If you're on the church's YouTube and my personal YouTube, you're good. But my personal Facebook, now my page, I got a page too. Now, if you're on that, you're good. So I have a page and a profile. So if you're on my page, my Facebook page, you're good. But if you're on my Facebook profile, my personal profile, it's not doing it anymore. Okay. So just want to let you guys know that just in case so you can see what I'm posting. All right. So you can see what I'm posting. Okay. All right, Ivan, good to see you tonight, man. Good to see you tonight. All right. So let me keep moving. I just wanted to make sure I address that. Okay. All right. So let's keep it moving. One of the greatest misconceptions, y'all listen, about relationships is that people stop loving each other. We fall out of love. We don't love each other no more. Like many times, that's not the problem. It's not that people stop loving each other. It's not that people stop like literally or they fall out of love. It's not that. It's people stop doing the things that help them build love in the first place. They exhaust all the possibilities of building love. They get to the place where they get exhausted and they stop, right? Even trying. They stop being optimistic. And that's what happens. So what happens when they stop doing the things that help them build love in the first place? The first thing that goes most of the time is they stop listening. They stop listening. And if you stop listening, now you in the rabbit hole. You're going into the deep hole. Now you stop communicating because if listening is not happening, there's no way you can communicate. You only will be talking at each other and you will have each other hearing each other, but you're not actually listening to one another, which means that communication is gone. There is no communication. So we stop listening. Now that stops communication. When we stop communication, now we're going to stop being intentional because now it's like we're not even able to talk about stuff. So now we're going to stop even being intentional or even being optimistic about things being able to be better. We're going to stop being intentional. When we get to the place where we're not intentional anymore, we're going to stop making the relationship a priority. Because once we're not being intentional, we're not going to prioritize what we're not being intentional about. Come on, somebody. Right? We're not going to prioritize what we stop being intentional about. Y'all see how this working? Y'all see how this goes? Y'all see how like when we literally stop and we sit back and we just start letting stuff happen is how you just get pulled deep into a hole, right? You get pulled deep first you stop doing the things that help you build healthy love and things that brought you together. You stop that in the so you guys that were dating all the time when you would go. Now you don't date anymore. That starts to unraveling. And then the listening goes away. The communication goes away. Now we're not being intentional more because you can't do these things. All of these build off the other thing. You cannot literally communicate unless you're intentional, right? You cannot communicate unless you're listening. See, so that's the thing. And we can't listen, we can't communicate. And we can't communicate, we're not going to be intentional. If we don't be intentional, we're not going to make the relationship a priority because we're not being intentional to make it a priority. We have to because in today's time, we have less time for everything, right? We make all these gadgets to save time, but all we do is put time into something else, right? We just get busier and busier. So if we're not intentional, whatever we prioritize, that's what we value. Okay. And so if you're not being intentional about your relationship, you don't value it like you say you do. And of course, you're not going to prioritize it because you're not being intentional with it. Right. And so relationships don't usually fall. People don't fall out of love. Relationships don't usually fail because of one catastrophic event. All right. People don't just fall out of love. People don't just because this happened and like, boom, I don't love you no more. Or it's like, I wake up today and it's like, man, I don't love you anymore. Or I can't stand you. Like that don't happen, y'all. Like if that happened, I would really really contemplate and really be able to talk to that couple and say, hey, y'all never did love each other, because you can't just wake up one day and say, I don't love this person. No, it don't happen because one big event happened. Like, and some of you all have been through some catastrophic things in your life with with your significant other, right? But that thing maybe hurt you, but it did get you to the place to where, man, it's like, man, I'm just done. Now, there's certain things that where you go beyond the boundaries, like in a relationship, like that can happen, that can be so catastrophic that it will put you in a place of distrust where it's like you don't feel safe. That's understandable. But most things, even if it's catastrophic, where it's like you made a big blunder on something, or you did something that was out of your character, like most of the time a person is just not gonna say I don't love you no more just because you did that one thing. All right. So relationships don't fail because of that one big event. They fail because small issues went unresolved for too long. And then when that event happened, it broke the camel's back. That's what happened. It's like that last straw, because there's always been a habitual chain like, things that have continued to happen constantly, constantly, constantly. And you just been dealing with, you've been trying to deal with, sweep it under the rug, sweep it under the rug. Well, guess what? The longer you sweep dirt under the rug, it's going to show one day. It's going to show one day if you keep literally sweeping that dirt under the rug. All right. And when the dirt gets to a certain level, it's going to start coming from out of that rug, and you're not going to be able to stop it. And that's what happens with our relationships. We can sweep it under the rug and it seems like it's not there, but eventually it's going to show a hump. And most people might not know what that hump is. They're like, oh, that's just something in the floor. And you just keep sweeping it. You know what's under that rug, but people don't. They just walk over it. But that hump will get bigger. Now people starting to notice it, but they'll still walk over because it's not stopping them. But as that hump gets bigger, most people are going to notice it, and it's going to become alarming. But the biggest thing is that now what you thought you were hiding is being put on display. That's how people can say, man, how they got to that place. Man, they was the couple that everybody wanted to be like. Man, they off the chain now. Like, man, what happened? Man, my heart hurt for them. I can't believe they wound up in that place, because you can't hide it anymore, right? You can't hide it. And so we have to understand these little things, like the little foxes. We got to deal with them, because if we don't deal with them today, they'll deal with us tomorrow. All right. So let's talk about the biggest threats. The biggest threats to our relationships. Okay. Number one, and this is huge, and you all already know this one, like you know it, because some of you all know it very well, because you have had a hard time with this in some of your relationships. But threat number one is the lack of respect. The lack of respect. All right. I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna put each one of these in the chat. All right. I'm gonna put each one of these in the chat. So when you guys go back, when you log in, you'll be able to see. So the lack of respect. All right. Threat number one, the lack of respect. So let's look at Ephesians 5:33. To sum up, we're gonna just sum it up. Pastor Paul said, I'm gonna just sum it up. Each one of you is to love his wife as himself. Come on, brethren. Come on, brethren. I'm saying it for the men in the back. Each one of you are to love his wife as himself. If you don't love your wife like you love you, it ain't gonna work, y'all. It ain't gonna work. You have to love your wife as you love yourself. Now, this is the problem. If you don't know how to love yourself, then how can you love your wife? So now we gotta teach you how to love yourself. And that's what happens in some relationships. Some people they don't know how to receive love. They don't know how to give love because they've never seen it. They've literally dealt with unforgiveness. They've dealt with all kind of stuff and things and all of that stuff. And as a result, literally, they go into these relationships because they feel great. They like the woman and they want to do right by her. But if you've never received love, if you got unforgiveness in your heart and you shut down to love, like, and you're not even loving yourself, then how can you know how to love somebody else? And that's male or female. But fellas, I'm talking to you right now. Like, we have to love our wives like we love ourselves. And if you don't know how to love yourself, then that's where we need to start. You need to learn how to love yourself, right? If you know how to love yourself, then you need to love your wife just as well as you love you, right? And the wife is to respect her husband, right? All right. The wife is to respect her husband. So respect is one of the foundational needs in every relationship because we all have to have respect. Again, I'm gonna do a session on the blueprint. Not the blueprint, but the foundation of a marriage. Okay, and it comes right out of Ephesians the 5th chapter. And so here is the word of God is not just saying that okay, husbands, you supposed to love your wife, and wives, you supposed to respect your husbands and wives are not about supposed to love, and husbands are not supposed to respect. That's not what this is saying. What this is saying is this is your focal point. Like men's focal point is but if you love, you will respect, right? You will respect. If you love her like you love yourself, you're gonna respect. And like wives, if you respect him, to respect him, there has to be that love there. But in order for this to work, it's important that these things are put in place. That like you could be lacking in other areas, fellas, but you can't be lacking in the area of love towards your wife. Ladies, you could be lacking in other areas, but you cannot be lacking in the area of respect towards your husband. And there's a reason for that. This goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden, y'all, when the curse came in the garden. I'm not going to go into it, but this goes all the way back. That's what this is all about. Like this goes all the way back to the curse that was given to man because of what they did in the garden. If y'all remember, and there was a curse that happened. And God said, okay, man, this is how it's gonna be. Woman, this is how it's gonna be. Okay, woman, this is how man gonna be towards you. Man, this is how woman gonna be towards you. Like this and that. This is what I want you guys to do. Okay, man, you have to do this. Woman, you have to do that. So God put it out there because of the sin that entered the world. It was never supposed to be like that. All right. But when sin came in the world, God had to put some things in place for us to be able to navigate stuff because now that sin is in the world, now we could be carried away by our sin nature, our flesh. So these things are put in place to bring balance and unity and agreement to the family. All right. So that love, like a man has to love, because men, we can get into our we can compartmentalize stuff. We can so we have to if we love our wife like we love ourselves, we're gonna be intentional with making sure that whatever we do, that as we do unto us, we do unto them. Right. And so that's the thing, like it's checking you. It's like, okay, you got to remember, you got to love this woman just like you love yourself because of what happened in the Garden of Eden. You can get so busy with work because now you got to work by the sweat of your brow. You got to do all this stuff because it wasn't never supposed to be that, Adam. It wasn't never supposed to be that. Adam wasn't supposed to work like that. Adam had a job to name all the animals and take dominion over the earth. After the fall, now he had to work labor and it had to be tough and hard and this and that. And so it's like now you got all these distractions, Adam. So you got to remember to love your wife like you love yourself so that you prioritize her. All right. Come on, somebody. I didn't even want to go into this deep, but y'all see what I'm saying? I didn't want to go into this deep, but that's why this is a connection to what the fall in the garden. All right. And so respect, because the respect was lost in the garden. Adam made a well, you gave it this woman. No, Adam, we're not gonna do the blame shifting. We're not gonna do that. But Eve didn't listen to Adam. Adam told Eve what to do, and Eve still let the serpent literally draw her away. And that's why the Lord said, I'm just giving y'all a list a little bit. That's why the Lord said that, how the woman would want to usurp like her husband, but the husband should lord over her. Because it was more about, it's like, you got to respect this man. You got to respect him because your nature is to be disrespectful. Women, listen to me. Your nature, your sin nature is to be disrespectful, to do your own thing. Do it how you want to do it because I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to do not everybody, not everybody, because some of y'all women, that ain't me, Pastor, that ain't me. I'm not talking about everybody, but some women, like you got this thing in you where it's like, man, you can't tell me nothing. Ooh, let me look at the wall. He can't tell who he think you're talking to. He can't talk to me like that. he better not come at me like that. Like, we be ready for it. I've watched it. I've seen it in my counseling sessions where some women, because of their background and what they went through, they be ready for it. So it's like the Lord is saying through the apostle, like, here is what you have to do when you're looking for a husband. If you cannot honor him and respect him, he ain't your husband. This is what we got to understand. This is before you get married, y'all. See, we try to make this be put into place after we get married, and we almost kill ourselves trying to make this work because the reality is we're not compatible. No, this is something you put in place before you get married. If you can't be respectful to that man, if you can't trust that man, then you ain't ready to get married. Fellas, if you can't love that woman like you love yourself, then you ain't ready to get married. Right? These are literally, like, this is the formula again, I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg. I'm not gonna give it all to you tonight, but I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg. But that's how the enemy come in, because we don't want to put in the foundational stuff to after we done committed to a marriage that we don't even have a foundation for. Our foundation is romance. Our foundation is emotions. Our foundation is feelings. Oh, we so good together. Oh, let me count the ways how much I love him, how much I love. Oh, he just buttered my biscuits. It's all feelings. And we get connected and make lifelong decisions based upon how we feeling in the moment. Right? Can I go deeper? That's why a lot of people have one night stands, because it's all about feelings. They was feeling this dude. They was feeling this woman, and they feelings got them carried away to where they flesh took over. And now they done went and did the mess around with this person they ain't even know and just met that night. Right? And so that's the thing, because feelings and flesh take over, and reason and accountability and reality is out the window. It's like, man, because I feel this, and man, yo, it is what it is. We about to get it on. And we a Philly generation. We're a Philly world. Like, we feel our way through a lot of stuff. And so we have to be able to uncover that. And that's the wrong mentality to have when you're coming into a marriage. Okay. So again, Ephesians 5:33 at the end of this is not about this is what you try to put in place after you're married. No, this is what should be in place before you get married. And if you can't do this, then that person ain't the one for you, or it's not time yet. And why, for whatever reasons, men, you can't love your wife like you love yourself. And women, you can't respect that man and honor him and be submissive to him. For whatever the reason you can't do that, that's what you need to deal with in premarital counseling before you say I do. All right. So that's just that's a part of one of the chapters in the book, y'all. I gave y'all a little bit of it, but I got more when it come down to it, because like it's more to it. But I'm just going to deal with that. All right. I'm just going to deal with that. So let's talk about this respect. What does lack of respect look like? And then, again, this is both ways, because again, this is not that women don't supposed to love their husbands and men don't supposed to respect their wives. No, that's not. I mentioned that earlier. That's not what this is. Like, literally, every one of us, like, if you're in any type of relationship, and it don't even matter. You're supposed to be respectful, period. Don't matter if you're in a relationship. If you got out the relationship and you can't stand that person, you're still supposed to respect that person, a human being, especially if you're a believer. Like, you're supposed to be respectful as a believer. You're supposed to honor one another. We're supposed to do that. That's one of the commands that we were given as believers, that we do each other in honor. Like, literally not just honor, but we literally go beyond and above to outdo each other in honor. All right. So we're supposed to do that as believers. So how much more we should do that for the people that we have been connected to, that have been family, that we have dated, or some of y'all that have married and you've divorced, like, and you got kids together. There still should be a respect there. But what does lack of respect look like, y'all? Okay. And I want y'all to lock in with this. What does it look like? This is what it looks like. Constant criticism. Constant criticism. Like, that's what lack of respect looks like. Like, talking down to one another, right? Right. Making each other feel less than. All right. Public embarrassment. Like, literally, some people be intentional, that, and that's a whole nother level. Because you got some couples, they be so mad, they'll just show out in public. They don't even give a care. They'll put you on blast. They'll make something be something that is not. And it's just like literally because they hurt, they mad, and they don't have no respect for you. So they ain't even thinking about what the ramifications of that. I've seen so many times situations where people have went to jail because they lost their emotions and they were not thinking about what their their actions is one are gonna cause. Because man, them people ain't gonna be playing like that. You can't be playing. You can't be out here playing that. Oh, he beat me up and he doing this and that man ain't touched you. Now I'm not saying that that don't happen because we have a lot of abusive situations and so that's not what I'm saying. But I've had situations where women have been so emotional and they calling the police and like he beat me, he doing this, and the man ain't even touched them, right? But when them officers show up, they ain't looking at they looking at a domestic violence situation. This man, in 9 out of 10, he gonna be put in handcuffs. I have seen it reverse, where the woman did that, and then when they got there, they realized who was the culprit. They put her in handcuffs. I've seen it both ways, y'all. But when we are in a situation where we done just lost all respect, we will embarrass one another in public and not even care. Right? People will do that. They will embarrass one another. Don't even care. Don't even think about it. Don't even look because they don't care. They don't care no more. Right? This is another thing, dismissing opinions. All right. Like they can really dismiss your opinion. They're just like, I ain't worried about that. Or just like, yeah, so what we doing for the day? And it's just like you sitting here like, well, I'm trying to talk to you. And it's just like you just changed the subject, like I'm not even talking to you. Right. Or we dismiss each other by our body language. Okay. What is one we like to do? Be on that phone. Your significant other trying to talk to you and you all in your phone. Well, oh, what you say? That's you being having dismissive behavior. That's you devaluing. That is a lack of respect. Some of y'all, this gonna hit you. This gonna hit your heart because some of y'all do that. Some of y'all be right on your phone while your significant other try to talk to you, and they done told you like, why you got to be on the phone all the time? I'm trying to talk to you. Well, I can hear you and do this too. No, that's disrespectful. They need your undivided attention so that you tell them and show them, hey, not only do I say I love you, but I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to value you. So in this moment, I'm shutting it down and I'm tuned into you. Literally, just that can change an environment in a relationship, right? So we can't be dismissive. All right. Some of y'all get bold and y'all be eye rolling and stuff like that, cutting like, making all these different doing all that stuff, walking away. That's all disrespectful. That's all disrespectful. Somebody talking to you, just walk away like they ain't talking to you. I don't got time for this. This ain't about you. When you said I do, you said we do, right? We do. When you said I do, and the other person said I do, it became we do in the sight of God, which means that we do is what's important. So we do this together. If we don't do it together, then we need to talk about what we gonna do for what we can't do together. So you can't just say, well, I don't feel like talking about this. I can't do this. You gave up that right when you said I do. Come on, y'all. We can be some disrespectful people in our relationships and don't even realize it sometimes because we selfish and self-centered. I told you, I'm gonna take my time on this, y'all, because this might be part 3. Because I need people to understand, and I need you to be able to see some of your behaviors. And I can talk about this for days because I counsel so many people, so I got a lot of experience to be able to that I've dealt with people about because of their behavior, and I've watched it in front of me. And so, if you do it in front of me, I know what you're doing at home. If you could do it in front of me and be dismissive and disrespectful, like I know what you're doing at home. It's worse. And sometimes people don't even realize how bad it is. So if you're doing that, if you're always criticizing, like they can't never do nothing right. It's like instead of giving them credit, like literally, if they don't do one thing right, it's like they never did it right ever. Right? You got some people like that. Like they mess up one time. Oh, it's like they never did it right. Like you always do this. Y'all be careful with them always and never words. All right? Be careful with that. Be careful when you say that. All right? So many people can handle disagreement. Many people can handle it. But very few people can thrive where they're constantly feeling dishonored. When you feeling dishonored, you can't thrive, and it's gonna create a very tense environment. And some of you all have heard your significant other say, "Hey, I don't feel like you value me. Hey, I don't feel like you respecting me. Hey," and you just let that go clean over your head, like whatever. Like I am respecting you, or you might flip it back. Well, I don't think you respected me. That's not mature. Because if you, it's like I know you won, but what am I? Like that kind of behavior, like it's childish, and we have to deal with that, y'all. We got to deal with that. So we have to look at these things, right? We have to understand these things, and this is the thing. I want you to talk to one another. And I want you to, first of all, I want you to put down what behaviors make you feel respected and what behaviors make you feel disrespected. And I want you to put that down. But then once you put it down, I want y'all to talk together. Put it down like different, like put it down where you guys, put it down separately. But then I want you to find time to talk about it so that, because maybe y'all never talked about it. Maybe you have never told your significant other, like, hey, when you do this, I feel disrespected. It's time for you to do that. All right. Put this down a little bit. It's time for you to do that. Amen. It's time for you to do that. All right. So disrespect. That's one of the main ones. These are deal breakers, guys. These are deal breakers. Like this is not something that, where, hey, this is, we can get no. When you have a lack of respect, that's a deal breaker. Your relationship is going to literally fail. All right. So if any one of you guys are dealing and like, it's like, well, I'm just playing with you. No, 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 we don't play like that. All right. And if they okay with playing like that, but if they're telling you like, hey, I'm not feeling like you honoring me, I'm feeling like you disrespecting me, like, please listen to your spouse, male or female, but ladies especially, like, don't marry a man that you really don't respect. All right. Don't marry that man for all the wrong reasons. And if you did that, then guess what? We need to be able to reset. We got to reset. It can be fixed. If you find yourself like, man, you married this person for the wrong reasons, man, get help because it can be fixed. But you got to work it. You got to work it. You got to work. It could be fixed. But some of us, we didn't even know. You got in a relationship and you ain't realized till later, man, I really don't respect this person. And as a result, you're seeing how your attitude is toward them. They're telling you how your attitude is. You don't give a care because you just mad in that moment and it's about you, yourself, and I. And some people do that. When they get emotional, they just get self-centered. Like nothing else matters but them, what they feel, how they feel. And again, if somebody shows you this, you better look at that red flag and understand, like, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And if you marry somebody that's like that, there's help, but it's gonna take some. You're gonna have to work it. You have to work it. So again, I don't want anybody to feel like, oh man, I'm dealing with somebody that's very disrespectful toward me. Oh, there's no hope. No, there's hope, but now that you see it, and listen, everybody, if you're the one that's disrespectful, don't get offended when your significant other or your husband or your wife come to you and tell you after this podcast that, just like, JB was saying, like, that's how I've been feeling for years. Don't take it personal and get offended. Listen to understand. All right. We say that in every podcast episode. Listen to understand. Listen to understand. Okay. Listen to understand. All right. Let's go to threat number 2. All right. And y'all probably saying, well, why was this one not the first one? Because number 1 literally controls number 2. All right. So if there's no respect, you're going to lack communication as well, right? And so threat number 2 is lack of communication, right? These are things, because just because you could talk and you can sit down and talk, that don't mean you're communicating. Right. And so some people think because they can talk and it's when it's fresh and it's a new relationship, you can overlook the fact that you guys have a hard time getting on the same page because you got all these other areas. Well, we look good on paper. We look good in person. We have fun together. But when y'all try to talk, it's y'all don't get nowhere. It's okay at first, but try months and months and months and years of not being able to communicate is going to destroy your relationship. Okay. Let's look at Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. So many couples talk. Not all couples communicate. Talking is exchanging information. Communication is exchanging understanding. All right. I tell you guys that all the time. All right. So the goal isn't just simply about speaking. The goal is understanding and being understood. That's the goal in our relationship. It's to have understanding and also to be understood. That's the goal. That's what communication, when you pull back the layers of communication, it's about understanding and being understood. If you're not having understanding and if you're not being understood, then there is no communication. There's no communication. And so communication is a key to healthy relationships. If you can't communicate, like it's a deal breaker, right? Just like respect is a deal breaker. Communication is a deal breaker because how can you grow if you're not able to communicate effectively? And I got the commandments of communication that I do with my couples. And, every argument or anything that they have where, they weren't able to get through, they can go back in those communication skills and be able to see where they went wrong and then they fix it. Right. So I call it the commandments of communication. That's how important they are. So if any of you guys have been through my counseling session, some of y'all that have been through my counseling session, my sessions like 6 or 7 years ago, like the list done grown. So just let you know, if y'all been through my sessions like about 6 years ago, like I've updated that list since then. I think I've added probably two since 6 years ago. And that's what happens. It's like, but anything, as you uncover more and more, you start seeing more things that you need to have a healthy relationship. So the commandments of communication have grown. They're not what they were. They're not 10 like they used to be. So, 'cause I used to call them the 10 commandments of communication, but I had to stop calling them that because I think I'm up to 12 or 13 now with the commandments of communication. So I just call it commandments of communication. All right. So let's look at some communication killers. All right. Because in order to understand how we need to communicate, we need to understand what kills communication. Right. And man, I'm telling y'all, some of y'all finna sit here and y'all finna get quiet on me. Why? Because you do this. Interrupting. Ooh, Jesus. Your spouse can't get a word out without you interrupting them. Your spouse can't get a statement out without you interrupting them. It don't matter why you interrupted them. It's just the fact that you interrupted them because you're not listening to understand. You're listening to respond. And some of y'all are listening to judge, which makes it even worse. Right? And so when you're interrupting, you cannot communicate effectively. It's going to cause tension. It's going to cause the other person to feel devalued. And literally, it's going to show that you're disrespectful. And those are deal breakers. All right. So interrupting. So if you guys are in a situation where you're interrupting, please listen to understand. Let them talk. Let them get their statement out. Then come back and say something. All right. But let them get it out. And if you're afraid that you're going to forget, bring your tablet into your conversations so that you can write down what they're saying. And so you can ease that pressure of like, oh, I got to respond because if I don't, I'm going to forget. Bring your tablet. Use your phone. Like, hey, I'm not on my phone, I'm just taking notes so I can remember what you're saying. Do that. That's going to diffuse it right there. Some of y'all, I just helped y'all. Right. I just literally helped your relationship because some of y'all have had a hard time with that where you have literally not been respectful because you interrupt when when your significant other is talking. They can't get a word out. They can't get a statement out without you interrupting. Okay. So take a pad to your, times where you guys are trying to, deal with some stuff so that you don't feel like you got to listen to respond. Now you can listen to understand because now you're writing down. All right. So interrupting is a communication killer. Being defensive when we're defensive, that is a communication killer. Right. And we know people that are defensive, right? They get on the defense, man. They start making excuses. They're like, well, I did it because A, B, C, D, F, G, H. It's like, can you just please let me finish? Let me finish and don't get defensive. Like, this ain't about being defensive. I need you to hear my heart. I need you to understand where I'm coming from. Because with you getting defensive, you done tuned out what I'm saying, and now you're on the attack. Right? So it's like defensive like kills communication when we get defensive. All right. When we get defensive, that kills communication. When we get offended, like, so that brings us on that place where now that we're offended, now we are attacking. We're coming out like boom. Now we don't even know with the defense, like we trying to, make an excuse about, well, we did it because this and that and blah, 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 this and that and blah, blah. But offense is like, man, it don't matter if you feel like you're wrong or right. Like you just finna attack. And that's why the spirit of offense, man, is a hard thing. And it's the bait of Satan. He uses that as a bait because that literally brings us into this place where we're bound. Like he uses that bait to be offended. And offense literally is the root of a lot of stuff, y'all. Like literally, like rejection is the root of a lot of us stuff. Offense is a trigger for a lot of stuff, especially unforgiveness. That's one of the biggest ones because we wouldn't have unforgiveness if we wouldn't have been offended in the first place. Amen. There's no reason to have unforgiveness in your heart if you didn't feel offended or hurt by something in the first place. So that's how Satan gets us. He gets us offended, harboring stuff. Now that turns into unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment. And now we are operating in a place of bitterness. We're operating in a place of pessimism. We're operating in a place from unforgiveness. And when we're in that place, you can't think straight. You can't live. You can't do stuff straight. It's like you're not able to function the way that you need to because you're not free. So you're making decisions from an emotional state, especially when those things are triggered because you got that unforgiveness. Especially if you round a person that you got unforgiveness, you can't even act correctly. People gonna look, man, you all right? You acting different. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. No, something wrong. Like what happened? They gonna automatically know because you can't even hide it when you're around that person. Because that's what unforgiveness can do. Can make you very uncomfortable, right? Make you bitter. So you can get an attitude, like, I just want to go home. It's like, dang, what happened? I don't want to be here right now. We was having a good time. And the other person don't even know that you are offended with somebody that just walked in the room, right? That happens with some people, okay? So we got to make sure we deal with that, all right? But it's definitely, when we get offended and all that, it's going to kill communication, all right? This one here, listen to this one, y'all. Ooh, because some of y'all are big at this. Assuming. When you just assume that you know what you're talking about. Instead of listening to understand, you just, I know. Yeah, because I remember I didn't know. It's like, just listen, please. Because you don't even know. That's not even what I'm talking about. You trying to beat me to what I'm trying to say. Just listen so you will know what I'm trying to say. And some of us know people like that. They try to beat us to the punch, so to speak, or they try to beat us to what we try to say. And it's like, no, just listen. Because now you can assume, and it's like, that's not even what I'm going to say. And your assumption is off. And what's bad about that is that happens when people don't talk. So when stuff happens, they can assume that something is a certain way. And guess what happens? Because they don't talk about it. Now they're feeling that way. And now they're responding based upon what they assume in their mind, which in reality may not be the truth. All right. So when you assume, that will stop you from communication. Because why should I communicate if I know what this is? Well, yeah, I know you. I know you lied. So now you won't talk. I know you lied. You ain't even hit me out yet. Can I? No, because I know everything for to come out your life. Your mouth is a lie, right? And some people grow up in families like that. You just like your daddy. He was a liar. You a liar too. So now they won't respect you or they won't believe what you say because they have equated you to your dad because they got problems with your dad. They're going to make you have problems because you look like your dad or you connect or you come from your dad. That is so jacked up that people do that, where they take out their pain on their child because they hate the father or they hate the mother, right? And so that person would never be able to have the value they need to have. And we do that in our relationships. We do the same thing in our relationships, y'all, where we sit here and we assume, so we just shut it down. We just control the narrative. You done made up a whole story in your head. You done put the reindeer in there. They're like, what the world are you talking about? I never said that. Well, it seems like that's what you were about to say. What? Just listen to what I'm about to say. Some of y'all do that. right? I'm not just making this up, y'all. I've been with people that they operate this way. Amen. Y'all quiet in this chat. Y'all better say something to me. Let me know. If it's ouch, say ouch. Because it's like literally we got people that do this. Well, we could assume and nobody can't tell you nothing, and you just shut the other person down and they just don't even try to talk to you anymore because they're so distraught that every time they try to tell you something, you just know better than them. You know them, but they sit and say, well, I guess you know me better than I know myself. How many times y'all done heard people tell y'all that? That's because your assumptions don't be right, or the fact that you're assuming in general without even listening to them. All right. Okay. So we gotta stop doing this assuming thing. We gotta listen to understand. We gotta hear people out. We gotta make sure we understood what they said before we assume that we think we know what they're saying, because that can literally do this to the next person, shut them down emotionally. And that's what happened. Communication killers, we shut down emotionally. And people shut down emotionally for many reasons. Some people do it because of trauma from their past. But some people do it because of the simple fact you shut them down. They don't feel they got nothing else to say. And it's just like it's emotionally draining to be able to talk, because they like you can't have a civilized conversation without getting angry. We can't have a civilized conversation without something happening that is emotionally like unstable. So they just shut down emotionally altogether. Man, whatever. And it's not good for men or women to shut down emotionally. But a lot of that happens because of the simple fact that it's hard for you to communicate. And these things literally are communication killers. Because if you shut down emotionally, you're not going to communicate. You're not even going to feel like communicating. You're not even going to feel like trying. All of these things will stop you from wanting to even try to communicate, right? Communication killers, another one, refusing to listen, right? When we refuse to listen, that's a problem, right? But like, well, because we justify how we feel, we justify what we feel, we justify what happened, we justify whatever you justify, but you make the executive decision that I'm not going to listen. That is disrespectful, y'all. And that's why disrespect is the first one, because a lot of these are disrespectful, which will kill your communication. A lot of this. When you refuse to listen to your spouse, I dare you. When you said I do, that went out the window. You cannot sit back and just tell this man or this woman, I don't want to listen to you. In what world you think you living in? No. The two shall become one, which means that there's a vulnerability between both of you all. So, and there's a love that should be there too. So even when you don't want to listen, you do it, because it ain't about how you feel. It's about how you respond. Ooh. It's not about how you feel. It's about how you're supposed to respond. Love is a choice, not a feeling. So if you love this man or you love this woman, you need to listen to them, even if you don't feel like it, because it's your responsibility. It's your duty. When you said I do, and you said I'm going to love, I'm going to cherish, I'm going to honor, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Love, cherish, and honor, which means that if that person needs you to listen to them, you listen. If you don't have time right there, then you say, okay, when I come home, I'm going to make time to listen to whatever you need to say. Or, hey, babe, before we go to bed, like right now, this is not a good time. I'm busy right now. But before we go to bed, let's say about 8:30, well, let's talk. Or when we go to bed, we could talk, we can have pillow talk. But don't just refuse to listen, and don't set up another time. Don't say, well, I ain't finna talk to you. I don't feel like talking to you, and then don't set up another time. If you can't do it right then and there, that's fine, but do it within 24 hours. All right. And if it's and that's the maximum. The minimum is to deal with it right then and there, or in 15 minutes or 30 minutes, or however quickly you can deal with it. Because 9 times out of 10, within 24 hours, you're gonna have some other problems that's gonna pop up. So my rule of thumb is that no problem should go unaddressed for more than 24 hours. All right. No problem. I don't give a care what it is. It has to be addressed within 24 hours. All right. Because once you get past 24 hours, you get into the danger of other things being on the table. Now you got 2 problems or 3 problems that need to be discussed. And now you overwhelmed, because it's like, now there's 3 problems that you haven't dealt with. Okay. So you got to deal with those things. All right. So we cannot refuse to listen. We gave up that right when we said I do. All right. And if you guys that are dating right now, if you have a hard time listening to the person that you are with right now, do you truly respect and love them? No. So guess what? You need to reassess this and get to the point. Why can I not listen to them? What stops me from being able to listen to them? You better get to the bottom of that before you say I do. Because whatever you had a problem with or was a struggle with when you were dating is going to be magnified at least 10 times over when you get married. Okay? So you got to understand that. It don't get fixed where it's like, oh man, we struggle with this, but once we get married, it's going to be all good. No, it's the opposite. It gets worse. So whatever you struggle with is going to be at least 10 times harder to deal with once you get married. Okay. All right. And so when it comes down to being able to get past these communications killers like interrupting, defensiveness, of being offended, assuming, avoiding, conversations that are hard and difficult, because that's one where we avoid now. Like it's like if it's a difficult conversation, we don't want to deal with it. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all can, oh no, you try to avoid it at all costs. But guess what? That's like sweeping it under the rug. And if you keep sweeping under the rug long enough, it's going to show. You right? And people shutting down emotionally and refusing to listen. One way you can deal with that is just say, "Help me understand what you're feeling. Help me understand what you're saying." That's that listen and understand. Help me understand. All right? Help me understand. Like, so, okay. So what it sounds like you're saying A, B, C, D, right? If literally, what it sounds like you're saying, that's what we call active listening skills, right? I teach all of the people I do counseling with. We teach active listening skills. You repeat back what they're saying before you respond to it. That'll cut down the majority of the confusion by just doing that. Just literally simply repeating back what you heard, which puts you in a place to listen to understand and not listen to respond or judge. Right? All right. So or you can do to help me understand what you're feeling. All right. All right. So ask yourself, do you feel more misunderstood or unheard during conflict? All right. Again, each individual, you're writing this down, and then you're going to talk to your spouse. You're going to talk to your significant other once you have the answer to your questions. And y'all going to talk about it. You got to come together. And so if your question, do you feel more misunderstood or unheard during conflict? So during conflict, if you say, man, I feel unheard, then hey, significant other, you got to listen to them like, hey, I just want to, after this podcast, like I want to let you know, hey, and when we have conflict, I really feel unheard. Okay. Well, help me understand why you feel unheard. Y'all see how that works? Well, I feel unheard because when this happened, and when you jump in and, I know you don't mean anything by it, but when you do that, it kind of just like void me out. Like it's like what I'm saying don't mean anything. So when you saying when I jump in, what do you mean by that? I jump in to the conversation where I respond to something you're saying. Yeah, yeah, like because like I don't even be finished talking and you just respond to what I'm saying, and then you like I didn't finish what I was saying. You just respond with it. You just take over the conversation. Oh, okay. Okay. So what I need to do is just make sure that I let you finish your statement. Yes. Just let me finish. So y'all talk about that, and that's just the way it should happen. Now, it may not be as cool as that. That's how that happened just now. But that's what you guys need to talk about. When you ask each other, when you sit down and you contemplate, do you feel more misunderstood or unheard during conflict? And you know which one you are, write it down. And then you go to your spouse, you go to your significant other, and you tell them, hey, I want to have a conversation with you after that podcast. Look, this is me. I really feel misunderstood during conflict. Because literally, like every time we get in conflict and, I'm talking, it seems like you don't understand what I'm saying. It's like every time you say what you think I'm saying, you respond what you think I'm saying. You not saying what I'm saying. So that has bothered me because it's frustrated me. It makes me want to shut down because nothing that I ever say you ever understand it. Okay, well, how help me understand what you want me to do? Well, I would like you to just like listen, let me finish. Or I would like you, hey, Pastor Jay was talking about, active listening. And it's like if we repeat back to each other what we've said before we actually try to respond to it, maybe that'll help. right? Or maybe we can find something on Google, something that can help with, me feeling misunderstood when I'm talking to you. Right. So, but now you can talk about it. Now you guys can be proactive, because if you're not proactive, you're going to be reactive. Right. And so reactive is not good. You go into defense mode, you go in protect mode. So you want to be proactive where we work together as a team. We don't want to be reactive where we work together as enemies, separately as enemies, together as a team, but separately as enemies. That's what reactive do. We're not teammates. We're enemies. We're on opposite teams when we react to stuff. When we proactive, like we are literally in this place where we're working together. And I need y'all to see that. When you're proactive, you work together as a team. You come together, okay, let's get ahead of this before it becomes a problem. When you're reactive, you're going to be on opposite teams, where it's like, okay, who's at fault? Who was this and that? I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to say this. I got to say my piece. You was wrong. Well, you was wrong. Well, you was right about that, but you was wrong about that. That's what reactive does. But proactive, we're going to get past. We're not going to get to that. We're going to put this in place, put that in place, so that when this tries to show us ugly head, we know how to deal with it. That's what proactive. Again, healthy relationships are not built by coincidence. They're not. They're not built. They don't just happen by coincidence. They don't just happen like just by accident. They don't happen just by osmosis. Healthy relationships are built with intention. Okay. And you guys know I say that every time we open up and when we close. All right. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. So this is going to be a part 2. All right. I'm going to do one more and we're done. All right. You guys enjoying this? Like, put in the text group message, put in the text message, because y'all being quiet tonight. I see you on, but nobody really saying nothing. So y'all put in the text feed if you guys enjoying this, if you understand this. So again, we've already got through 2 of the threats: lack of communication and the lack of respect. Those 2 are 2 major threats to our relationships. They are silent killers in our relationships. They will literally be a threat to destroying your relationship. If you don't deal with the respect issues in your marriage, if you don't deal with the communication issues in your marriage, guess what? Or your relationships don't matter. It's marriage or relationship, like, it's going to destroy it. It is. It's like, it's just going to be, some others may take longer than others, but you're on a collision course for destruction every single time. These are deal breakers. These ain't certain things that you could just be like, okay, well, we can deal with that later. No, these are deal breakers. If you got disrespect in your relationship, that's a deal breaker. If you can't communicate in your relationship, that's a deal breaker. You can't get anywhere. You can't grow if you're not able to communicate. And here, threat number 3, the lack of forgiveness. The lack of forgiveness, when we have unforgiveness in our heart toward one another, right? If something happened in a relationship and it's like you got offended, and you are harboring those things, like, that's definitely going to destroy your relationship. Colossians 3:13 says, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If anyone has a grievance against another, just as the Lord has forgiven you, so you are also to forgive. Right. And you guys last night, you guys know we used that Bible verse last night for our Path to Freedom class, right? When we was talking about forgiveness. And so the key is this: just like the Lord has forgiven you, so you are to forgive others. Period. When the Apostle Paul was talking to the church at Colossae, like, literally, when he was talking to them, he was talking to them in general as believers. He wasn't talking about married couples, because that goes without saying. That's just the given, that you forgive your husband, you forgive your wife. Like, this is the thing. It don't mean you forget it. Because, see, we ain't talking about forget. Because there, you can forgive and not forget. Because some things happen that's going to be hard to forget, but you have to forgive them. All right. But this is the thing. You should not be harboring things in your heart where it leads to unforgiveness, because that's going to kill your relationship every single time, 100%. So just like the Bible verse says, just like God forgave us, because he did, you walking and breathing because he forgave, because he could have got mad and snapped his fingers and you could have died, because he's like, oh, they not doing what I want. I regretted I made this one. Off with his head. Off with her head. I know that's gruesome, but it's the truth. But because of grace, we get the opportunity to get it right. So we're forgiven. Jesus paid the price for us. And so how can we feel justified that we can hold unforgiveness toward somebody else when God never held it against us? That's the whole reason he gave his son, because of the simple fact he had no unforgiveness toward us. He loved us so much that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Right? And so how can we walk around with unforgiveness in our heart when the one that gives us life has forgiven us? And guess what? Newsflash, how many of y'all perfect on here online? Nobody. Everybody made mistakes. Some of y'all made mistakes today, but yet God forgave you. But yet we will hold our spouses and our significant others to the fire because of unforgiveness. And we done did worse things than they did in our life. And some of y'all done did things y'all ain't even told your significant other about or your spouse about. And you got the audacity to have unforgiveness in your heart because they hurt you. God forgave you. And the Bible verse said right there, just like you've been forgiven, so are you to forgive as well. Period. And when we have unforgiveness, it's going to keep your relationship stuck in yesterday. There's no going forward to the present or the future. It's going to be stuck in yesterday. So you never gonna how you know you stuck in yesterday? The person keep bringing up all the old stuff. Like they keep harboring it. They ain't never let it go. It's like every time it come up, they ain't never let it go. And it's like, man, it's one thing if you bring it up as a teaching moment, but when you keep bringing it up because you ain't let it go, that's a whole nother thing. If you use a teaching moment as a building block, like, hey, remember when this happened? Like literally, this is why this is happening again. We need to make this decision in order for this not to happen again like it happened before. That's a teaching moment. But when you keep going back, yeah, because you hurt me with this and you hurt me with that, and it's just like, man, that hurt me. Like that's telling me like you got some unforgiveness there because literally you don't have to forget. And like I was telling the class last night, like literally, if when you start remembering those events and the pain is still there, you got unforgiveness. You should be able to remember those events without the pain being there. Now you can have some, feelings toward it, but where it pains you, where you get emotionally distraught and it's like it just happened yesterday, you got unforgiveness. When you start getting emotionally and you become emotionally unraveled, oh yeah, you got unforgiveness in your heart. That's when you know you have unforgiveness. Okay. So remember that. That's the key to understand if you have unforgiveness is when you remember those events that hurt you and the pain is still there. You got unforgiveness. You ain't let it go. You ain't have to forget it, but you got to let it go. You got to literally forgive, just like your Heavenly Father is forgiving you. Okay. And so when we have unforgiveness in our relationship, what happens? Old wounds become arguments. They become arguments. These wounds that have not healed, they be triggers. Right? Y'all notice that, right? They be triggers. That's what things be popping off when you touch that wound. Like when you hit that wound, they go to hollering. And it's just like, man, that's got to be healed. Right? Old offenses that we've been offended about become barriers. Where it's like, you offended me, so I don't trust that. Like, no, you can't go past this part, this and that. I'm not letting you in. Not dealing with that. I don't trust you. Whatever the case is, those old offenses will become barriers. You put up a wall. You put up the barriers because you don't. It's like I'm offended, and you can tell it. That's why I'm saying when some of y'all go around people that offended you, you can't even act civilized anymore. Like people look like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? What, you got something going on with this person over here? What's the problem with this person? Girl, I don't even want to talk about it. I ain't got time for it. But let's just get up out of here because if we don't get up out of here, boy, I'm telling you, I might do something I regret. What? What, girl? What you talking about? Girl, let's go. You've been around that before where people got that type of unforgiveness and offense to their heart that it's like they just shut down. Like they can't even control themselves when that thing is triggered, right? And so we got to understand that forgiveness is that it hurts us that much. Unforgiveness will stop you from being successful. It will stop you from walking in your call. It will stop you from understanding your purpose and your value. Unforgiveness will do all that because you become a prisoner in your own mind. Your pain has produced a prison, like literally. Your pain has brought you into a prison in your own mind and your own self. So it's like you're not able to accomplish what you could have because you have not let go that unforgiveness in your heart, and it gets triggered. Everywhere you go, it's getting triggered some kind of way because it's getting triggered through trust issues, it's getting triggered through fear, it's getting triggered through doubt with certain things that you don't believe because of what you've been through before with stuff that you ain't gave, and it gets triggered with you like not willing to be stepping into certain things or letting people into certain places of your life because you got unforgiveness and hurt from your past that you never healed from. And as a result, the new person you're dealing with has to suffer the consequences because you never got healed or restored, right? And so what happens is, listen to me good, when you're dealing with this unforgiveness, your relationship becomes a courtroom instead of a partnership, right? The person feels like they're always on trial. Oh yeah, because you did it. Like like they're always on trial. Like you try to stick it to them all the time, and it's like, are we family or are we enemies? Am I in a court of law where you the judge, the jury, and the executioner? Because that's what happened. You all that's living with unforgiveness, you put your spouses in the court of law, and you become the jury, the judge, and the executioner. You become all of them, and they just sitting there. It's like, man, if I say something, it's wrong. If I don't say something, it's wrong. So it's like, man, it is what it is. And some people just get tired. But have you become the judge, the jury, and the executioner in your marriage? Have you, every situation that comes up, it becomes like you in a courthouse, in a courtroom, and it's a trial going on. Where now we can't even be a partner. We can't have a partnership. We can't have this companionship. It's all, oh, this and you did this and you did that and you did that. I've seen it, y'all. And a person feels like they're in the courtroom, and they dealing with you, that is the judge, the jury, and the execution, all three of them, because you make all the decisions. You ain't listening to reason. You ain't listening to anything but you, yourself, and I. So it's your way or the highway. Period. There it is. All right. Some of y'all may be like that. All right. So I want y'all to understand, forgiveness does not excuse what happened, right? It does not excuse what happened. But forgiveness releases your right to keep collecting interest on the offense. I want you to hear that. Forgiveness releases your right to keep collecting interest on the offense, right? That's the thing. If you want to get literally free of offense, the spirit of offense, because offense leads us to unforgiveness. But if you don't get free of the spirit of offense where you get offended so easily, give up the right to be right. Give up the right to be right. When you end up giving up the right to be right, then you will see things differently. You won't see it from an offended place. You'll see it from a place of understanding. You will listen to understand. You won't listen to respond or to judge because you're offended. And you definitely want to allow yourself to get into unforgiveness because you analyzing it. You're processing it. Okay, why do I feel this way? What was going on? Why would you think why did they do that? I know they didn't do that on purpose. So let me go ask them why they did. So you processing that, you're not sitting back allowing that offense to get into your heart. Because if you do, because you feel some kind of way, because you have never given up the right to be right, game over. Because if you don't deal with that, you're gonna have unforgiveness in your heart. I dare them. How could they do me like that? And now you thinking about it. You done laid down. You done dreamed about it. Now you wake up the next morning. You live it. Oh man, I can't stand them. They ain't family anymore. I'm cutting them off. And it's just like, really? So you laid down. You were just mad. You got up saying they're not family. And that's why the Bible say, don't go to sleep. Don't lay down with that stuff in your heart. Like, get it right. Don't lay down. Don't go to sleep with that kind of anger, because the enemy loved that. He be waiting to make you dream whatever you want to see so that you can wake up ready to fight. You can wake up ready to have a bad day. You can wake up going, oh, yeah, I'm on one today. Some of y'all have even said that. I'm on one today. I wish somebody would. Why would you do that? Especially you all as believers. That's not the way you're supposed to act, but that's how Satan wants you to act. He wants you to make a fool of yourself, right? That's what he wants you to do. So we have to be careful about this stuff, okay? So that's number three, lack of forgiveness. That will hurt us every single time. So discussion question. Why do you think forgiveness is so difficult for people? Why y'all think that? Why you think forgiveness? Because some of y'all may be dealing with it. Why do you think forgiveness is so difficult for people? Why do you think that? All right. Answer that to yourself. Okay. And talk to your significant other because they may have unforgiveness in their heart. And this might peak, this might like make it come out. Or you may have unforgiveness in your heart. And now you need to tell them, like, hey, I've been having harbored unforgiveness against you for years. And I want to apologize. I should have never been doing that. Because it's going to stop. It's going to literally kill your relationship. It's going to kill it. I'm telling you, all of these threats kills your relationship. It don't just hinder it, it kills it. All right. These are deal breakers. If any of these are on the table, you cannot have a successful relationship at all. You can't have a successful relationship. All right. All right. Well, that's my time for the night. I went a strong hour and a half, y'all, right on the dot. All right. So I know that was a lot. I know it's not the good feeling message and like, but I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to help you. Right. And so, this is not like, a regular podcast where I'm gonna say stuff that get you wooing and wowing and all that. I don't give a care about that. What I care about is young people and middle-aged people and people that's been in marriage for 20 plus years get it right. That's what I care about. Because if you get it right, then you set the tone for the next generation to get it right. And if they get it right, they set the tone for the next generation. And I want to see single parent homes annihilated eventually in our society. To whereas that will be a thing of the past where single homes will be a thing. Well, Section 8 will be a thing where it's like, well, we don't need no Section 8 because guess what? Everybody, these fathers are being in their child's life because people did it the right way. And I know that's a lofty goal, y'all. But guess what? I could do my part for it, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So that's why I invite people to this because I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the blueprint to have a healthy relationship. All right. This is part one. We're going to have part two next week where I'm going to give you the tool because every week I give you a tool in order to help you be able to deal with this. So we just got into three. I'm going to have to knock these other ones out next week. We'll see. Like I said, I may have to have a part three to this, but I'm going to knock these other four out next week. We got four more threats, right? To a relationship. And some of y'all gonna be like, I know that these first ones y'all done heard of. You done heard of, forgiveness. You done heard of communication. You done heard of respect. Those things. And of course, I went into detail about them. Some of you all may have identified yourself and why looking at yourself and be like, man, that's me. All right. Because you never really knew that was you. Well, that's you. And the shoe fit. Like you got to deal with it. Okay. So go back. Talk to your significant others. Talk to your spouse. Y'all handle this. And if you got problems and something come up and you guys don't know how to deal with it, reach out to me. Right? Just reach out to me. Hey, we was dealing with this and we had this question. Okay, great. I'll answer your question. Right? And some of you all might need some counseling. You might need that. And so again, I have opportunities available, for me personal that you guys can have me as your counselor. All right. You can do that. All right. Now they're listen, like, cause that's what I do. So there will be a fee involved for pretty much unless the Lord put on my heart to do it free, but that's my livelihood. Okay. So it's like I'm already doing this for free. This here I'm doing freely. Like this is so I want to do this. I want to do this to help people in general. But if I start meeting with you personally, then that's a whole different level. All right. So that's the thing. And so, honor that. You guys honor that, okay? Because it's my time. I'm also a pastor. I also run a nonprofit, run a school, and I have a family. So if anytime I'm taking time away from that, I gotta be producing. Okay. So y'all gotta understand that. Cause some people, it's just like, now if I come to you, I say, the Lord put on my heart to do this for free. If he does that, then yeah. But then I don't want some of y'all, don't be expecting people to do stuff for free, especially when it's like on a whole nother level. Cause it's gonna be on a whole nother level. When you come to when I coach you and go through what I do with you, we don't do less than 8 sessions. Like literally, I don't give a care where you are in your relationship. We don't do less than 8. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I have never, ever done less than 8 sessions ever in my life. And guess what? Only one time since I've been counseling, I've done 8 sessions. Most of the time, my sessions last for 20 and 30 sessions. Because when we start pulling back them layers, people realize, man, there's more in here that we need to deal with than what we thought. So most of the time, the average of the people I counsel, it'd be 25, 30 sessions every week. Like we do once a week. And we'll be 25, 30 sessions strong. Some people I done did literally, and that have shown up on here, like at least 100 sessions. Not even lying, because some people it's just what it is, and I'm locked into them. You know, that's the thing. Like we gonna get this done, we gonna get this working, because some people got stuff where they got to deal with on a whole nother level. So I've not lying, not exaggerating. I've had some people, couples I've worked with, but I've done over 100 sessions with that couple because of the need. We locked in. So that's the thing. I don't go into like, so, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna charge you this amount for 8 sessions. I don't do that, because you may have to do more than 8 sessions. And most of the time, most people do more than 8 sessions. Especially if you come to me and it's like, y'all talking about divorce and all that. Oh, it ain't gonna get done in 8 sessions. You ain't gonna probably get it done in 20 sessions. We'll be now if you there's 3 principles that if you guys from the beginning are able to do, but most couples can't do that. That's the reason why they came when they came, and they're talking about divorce. Because if they were able to do those 3 things, which is to be all in, to be vulnerable, and to be committed to whatever it takes to make this work, then you wouldn't even be talking about divorce. So most of the time, people can't even do those 3 things when they come to me. So I have to teach them how to do those 3 things, right? And that takes time as well. So again, if you are in that place, like if we can go out to eat and spend $40 and $50 and all of this on food, then you can spend and invest in your marriage and your relationship. Again, I know God anointed me for this. So I can boast to you guys. And people on here know I'm called to do this. You got people on this feed right now that know I'm called to do this. And I can boast and tell you that literally out of all the couples I've ever coached or ever counseled in my life, not one of them will tell you that what I said didn't work. And if they didn't make it, they would never say it was because of me. I have 100% track record, guys, on what I do. You want to know why? Because it ain't me, it's the Lord. So I can boast in these things. Why? Because it's the Lord. It's the Lord. That had nothing to do with me. God anointed me for this before I even got credentials, before I even got a degree, before any of that. He anointed me to do this. I changed my major to this as a freshman because I was good at this. And I said, look, there's got to be something. I was at Florida State University. And I was like, is there something? And I went to the guy, I didn't even know what to call it. They the one told me what it was with counseling psychology. They the one told me, because I said, is there a degree that has to do with giving people relationship advice and all this? Because I said, I'm pretty good at it. I don't know how I got good at this, but I want to get paid for it one day. And they would say, yes, sir, this is that. And I changed my major on the spot. On the spot, y'all, in 2 seconds. That's how I knew it. And that was before any type of any education or anything, because it was naturally in me to be able to do this. Okay. So I can boast in my God because he has anointed me for this. And a lot of people know this, that this is what I'm anointed for. And so the gloves came off this year because I've been holding back with this podcast. I've been holding back with this book. And I'm telling you, I'm getting it done this year. All right. And y'all see the podcast already. And I'm telling you, people are being blessed by this podcast. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people. So I'm telling you, and y'all know people ain't doing this like this. This is a master class. Y'all would have to be paying for this. Y'all would have to literally buy into something, pay $99 something, and get these on videos, not even be live. Not like this, not this extends for an hour and a half. I've been teaching for an hour and a half, and I do that every single week since February. Where y'all gonna get, y'all not gonna get that. And guess what? I love the fact I can do this. I thank God for choosing me to do this. All right. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is to give you stuff. And again, this stuff right here can help a lot of you all that you may not even have to go to counseling, because this is counseling within itself if you do the work. I take time every week to put these lessons together along with Wednesday night stuff and Sunday, plus all other stuff I do. But I enjoy it, y'all. So take advantage of it. All right. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. All right. So I love y'all. But again, I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but I didn't even plan to say all of this. But somebody is on here, you know you need help and you need to reach out. All right. And you can invest and you can make decisions to invest in all this other stuff, but you need to invest in your marriage. You need to invest in your marriage. Okay. Some of y'all may be on here and you're dating right now and you scared because y'all been listening to me every week and y'all realizing, man, we getting red flags coming up every week. You need to get into counseling. All right. Right now. Don't wait till you married. Get into premarital counseling. Premarital counseling ain't 3 sessions. If you get somebody to say I'm doing 3 sessions for premarital counseling, don't go to them. All right. Because long gone are the days when I have a session with you, then I have a session with him, and then I have a session with y'all together, and now we good. Long gone are them days. Those days are gone. Like, we got so many issues today. Like, we got people getting married off of 3 counseling sessions that end up divorced in 3 years. Because when they went to the marriage counselor or they went to the minister or whoever, they didn't talk about the stuff that were going to be triggers when they said, I do. And that's what my book is about. If y'all notice about this, the blueprint, I'm building the book right now with these lessons that I'm doing every week. All right. And so a lot of these lessons are coming from what is going to be in the book that I've already been navigating. All right. And so this is the thing, man. Look, I'm telling you, I'm pleading with you guys. Get the help you need. Don't try to do this alone. You're going to crash and burn. I promise you. I promise you, y'all, if you don't deal with these threats to your marriage, you're going to crash and burn. If you don't deal with these threats to your relationship, you're going to crash and burn. And you'll get to the place and you'll say, we fell out of love. That's a lie from the pits of hell. You didn't fall out of love. You exhausted the possibilities of being able to make love work. Because love is not a feeling. You can't fall out of something that's not a feeling. Love is a choice. You chose to stop loving each other, not fall out of it. There is no falling out of love. That's a feeling. That's emotion. And some of y'all don't know the difference between love and lust. Some of y'all lusting after each other and not loving each other because you never learned the difference. You can't fall out of love. That's Hollywood stuff. That's the culture tell you, when I don't love you no more. You know, you make the choice to love. It's not about how you feel. Because some days you ain't going to feel it. But it's not about if you feel it. It's about the vow that you made, the covenant that you made to say, I'm going to honor and love this person. Period. Don't worry about the rest of that stuff. Honor and love is the top. Because if you can honor and love, you can make it through. You can make it through. So I love y'all. All right. Gave y'all a little sermon that anyway. Y'all know this is what I do, y'all. I love this. I love this. I could do this every day of the week and help people because it's always been my heart to do this all my life. Since I was young, this has been my heart to help couples. And I'm so grateful that I get the platform to be able to do that right now. So again, you guys share this with your people because every Thursday at 8:00, we going live. Just the last Thursday of the month, we do 9:00, which is our late night edition. We do that the last Thursday of every month because I have a meeting that doesn't get out until like 7:30. Well, 8:30 doesn't get out to 8:30. So that's why we go live at 9. So I just turn it into late night edition and I do a little bit different. The last time we did something was a part 2. So we just finished part 2, but the late night edition is going to be a little bit more different. Okay. So the last Thursday of every month is the only time it's at 9:00 Central Time, but every other Thursday it's 8:00 Central Time. Okay. All right. So I love y'all. God bless you guys. Again, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, y'all. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all because you know in the description you guys have literally. I appreciate your gifts, man. Like that makes a brother feel good. Like, you know, I see people are sowing into this ministry, man, and into my life. And I appreciate that. I value that. It's not about the money, y'all. It's about the fact that that's a value. When people value what you're doing, you sow into it. Like you value the restaurant, you're gonna pay for it. Ain't no restaurant you're gonna go in and eat for free. Like, so if you value it, you gonna pay it. And some of y'all like to go to the restaurants and you pay $70, $80 because you value what they offering. You could go to McDonald's and pay 10, but you say, no, I don't want McDonald's. I want Ruth Chris. So we gonna go pay $70, $80 per plate because we value that service or that food. Commander's Palace. You can spend $100 on red beans and rice, but you are paying for the experience because they have 7 or 8 waiters that wait you at your every command. So you pay for the experience. So people will pay that type of money for the experience. So I appreciate you guys because there have been people, you guys that have come on here and you guys have sold into me. And so it helps me to appreciate like little man, like people are valuing what I'm putting out here. Like you value it. So thank y'all. I appreciate that, man, for you guys that support, that have literally sown into me with this podcast. So I definitely appreciate that for real, for real. I want to tell y'all that from the bottom of my heart. So again, appreciate you guys. If any of those that want to sow, you guys can see it in the description for the Cash App and Zelle. You guys can sow from there. But I appreciate y'all, man. I'm telling you, I really do. And so I pray that even at the end of these 15 minutes I just spent extra to help you guys understand my heart, I pray that it bless somebody, that you know my heart, that you know who I am, you know what I'm about, you know why I do what I do, because I want you to understand I don't do this just because of the simple fact, like, hey, I ain't got nothing else to do. I want to be an influencer. That's why I didn't do it. I didn't care about being no influencer. I didn't care about, I don't care about like blowing up and all that kind of stuff. I didn't care about that. I don't care about that. But the Lord says it's not about that. It's like, I've called you to do this. So you have to do it. Like, that's the thing. I've called you to do this. Like this is what I've called you to do. So you have to do it. Like, there are people hurting. So don't worry about it. This is where the people are. The people are on social media. That's where they are. So you gotta go where they are. So if they on social media, this is where they hang out. This is where you got to do this, because we were doing this in person, right? Y'all know that. Like, this whole lesson I was doing in person with my couples. And the Lord was like, no, you got to expand this because there's couples that are hurting all over this city, all over this world. And it's like, I've called you to do this. All right. So again, it ain't perfect, y'all. It's homemade. Like, I ain't worried about all that. One day we'll have a studio. One day I'll be able to make it very realistic and, do it all professionally. But hey, God told me to start it. He said, don't worry about it being professional. You get in front of that mic, because I'm using my AirPods. That's why I don't have a mic set up here. I have a mic that I can utilize, but I just use my AirPods. I'm using my MacBook right now. There's no special camera. There's no special lighting and all of that. We just straight up homemade with this, because it ain't about that. It's about what I'm giving you guys. It's the meat that I'm giving you guys. The bells and the whistles, that'll come, But right now, I'm not worried about all of that. I'm not worried about all that, right? I'm not worried about that, because why? God got this. He got it. He got it, y'all. So I'm excited. Y'all. So I just posted that because somebody just asked me for it. So I just posted the Cash App, and I posted the Cash App is JLBurton, and the Zelle is JLBurton03 at Gmail. So thank you guys. But I just posted it because somebody asked for it. So you all probably, I know I said it earlier, but because somebody asked, I posted it. Okay. So I love you guys. Blessings to you all. And again, reach out. I'm going to have a boot camp, where we're going to have like a 6-week intensive. And I'll let you guys know when we release that. Okay. But I want to get this really going, get this thriving, get our base, really where people are coming on, being blessed about this. And then I'll do the boot camp, because I want to do the boot camp where we have enough people in that boot camp to really make it nice. All right. And then after the boot camp, we'll start putting together a retreat. All right. And so I'm looking forward to that, a marriage retreat where it's going to be off the chain. It's going to be, I'm telling you, I've been waiting for this for a long time, because we're going to do some unique stuff, y'all. We're going to have some unique stuff that we're going to do with the couples in person. So it's going to be real nice. All right. So I love you guys. Blessings. Have a blessed night tonight. And thank you guys for your support. All right. And if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want me to teach on, like, hit me up personally. If you all, I got my number, hit up the DM with the Facebook or the YouTube. Like, let me know, because I would love to put something together that you guys really want to hear. All right. So I love you guys. God bless you. Thank you guys for being on tonight. All right. You guys have a blessed night. All right. Good night. Peace. Deuces.